tape. Farmer, 29 years old, stands at 5'6". He has a reach advantage over the 27-year-old JoJo Diaz.
12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, the challenger. He fights out of the red corner and stands with his head trainer, Joseph Diaz Sr. He wears gray with black and red trim. This 2012 Olympian scaled at already 129.8 pounds. His professional record, an excellent one. 30 victories, only 1 defeat. He's got 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the former WBA Gold, WBC NABF, and WBO NABO Featherweight champion tonight, appearing in his 3rd world title attempt, representing South El Monte, California. Ladies and gentlemen, Joseph JoJo Diaz Jr. Diaz Jr. And the defending champion fighting out of the blue corner. He stands with his head trainer, Raul Chino Rivas. He wears the black with blue and pink. He scaled the junior lightweight limit of 130 pounds bang on. His professional record, 30 victories, 4 defeats, 1 draw, 1 no contest, and 6 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and tonight, making his 5th defense of his world title, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the reigning and defending IBF Junior Lightweight Champion of the World, Tevin, American Idol, Farmer.
All right, Chief second. Hold on, gentlemen, hold on. Gentlemen, you get the instruction in the back. Obey my command, protect yourself at all times. Right here is gonna be a good punch. Right here is gonna be a good punch. Any questions? Touch him up if you want, come out of the belt.
You know, it was nearly 2 years ago that JoJo Diaz had a chance to join boxing's elite against Gary Russell. He lost in that test. He says he's gonna have to take big chances to pass this one.
Mouthpiece. Let's go. At the belt, gentlemen. Step back, Joe. Step back.
Start of round number 1. The IBF Junior Lightweight Championship. Tevin Farmer in the black trunks with the floral trim in those bright colors, and JoJo Diaz wearing the silver trunks with the glittering red.
You know, already between these two guys, you can see the size advantage for Tevin Farmer, not just in height, but Tevin Farmer is a full-fledged 130-pounder. JoJo Diaz making just his 4th fight in this weight class.
That was one of the things Tevin Farmer told us yesterday, saying he feels like JoJo Diaz is just too small and he will be able to bully JoJo.
Step back.
Chris, you've also talked about the need for Tevin Farmer to make this an exciting fight.
Well, look, Tevin Farmer is not going to take many chances in the ring. That's not speculation. He effectively told us as much yesterday. If he has to win boring, he's going to win boring. But he wants big fights too. Gervonta Davis, perhaps. Lomachenko, who's been a sparring partner of Tevin's before. You're not going to get those fights unless you prove yourself to be a television-friendly fighter.
Don't hit him behind the head. You understand?
It's a rarity to see 2 southpaws facing each other, especially at the high level like this. But both these fighters are very accustomed to fighting left-handed fighters, both coming off back-to-back fights with southpaws. And when we asked Tevin Farmer how does he feel about fighting a left-hander, he says it comes down to speed, and I have the size and the speed over JoJo Diaz.
Chris talked about that opportunity against Russell. What JoJo Diaz learned, he said he absolutely needs to take more risks tonight against Tevin Farmer than he did with that loss to Russell.
I mean, losing to Russell is no shame. Russell is an elite 126-pound fighter, but JoJo Diaz said he got too complacent, was doing too much of the same things. To get to Tevin Farmer, you have to take big chances, go to the body hard, be aggressive, and he says we're going to see all of that tonight.
Diaz had a second title shot against Jesus Rojas, but could not make weight. Won the fight, but did not win the belt as a result. And shortly after moved up to 130 pounds, where he has been much happier, as he had really struggled to make 126.
Good body shots there. Diaz, Farmer staying cool and collected, picking off the shots.
Farmer, in between rounds, said that he hurt his hand a little in that first round. We'll see if that manifests itself in some way in this fight.
Yeah, as soon as the first round ended, he was shaking his right hand towards his corner and then had to verbally bring it to their attention in the midst of that dialogue. Now remember, it was JoJo Diaz who had to fight with a hurt left hand his last time out and was able to just scrape by with a majority decision win over Jesus Cuadro.
And if Tevin Farmer didn't hurt that right hand, that's what he controls the distance and the pace with, because that's his jabbing hand, and he throws a lot of jabs. That's like how he controls the tempo of the fight.
Perhaps it'll make him a little more hesitant to do so. We'll see if it has any effect on Farmer.
He'll be able to flick the jab and get the distance, but as far as lining it hard and turning those knuckles in, that's when he'll feel the effects of the hand.
All of a sudden, a cut around the left eye of JoJo Diaz.
Oh, that's in a tough spot, too, right above that left eye.
That's a bad cut, too, it looks like.
And it looked like Farmer that went to try and pick it off with the right hand. Cut comes early in this fight.
This fight was anticipated by a lot of boxing purists who would hate for it to end on a technicality before the fourth round on that cut.
Yeah, you can see the blood protruding from that cut as Farmer continues to tap at it. JoJo Diaz to call out Farmer on social media, try and get this fight made. Farmer clarified to us, though, he said, I like him.
Yeah, I think a lot of the, quote, animosity between these two largely manufactured. In a lot of the same ways, the animosity between Farmer and John O'Carroll was manufactured. So after that fight, they went out and got cheesesteaks together.
And Farmer joked with us, he said, I'll go get a cheesesteak with JoJo tomorrow. A little different than what's materialized between Gervonta Davis and Tevin Farmer.
That, I think, has more meat to it.
JoJo Diaz told us he has to take more chances in order to become champion, and with that bad cut under that eye, he's going to have to take even more chances and gamble.
Big left hand from Diaz, and then shots to the body from Farmer. And a nice exchange at the end of the second round.
Don't worry about it. Joe, that's nothing, Joseph. But listen to what I'm telling you, son. You gotta let your hands more busy. You hear what I'm telling you? Yeah. The rounds are good, son, but you got to be more busy.
That's a bad cut in a bad spot, and usually it's because of headbutts. And here we're going to see that's exactly what it was.
And when you're cutting,
that was unintentional, but that's what happens when two left-handers fight like that, because they're not used to fighting each other. That's a bad cut.
Do more output, Joe. I'm telling you, more output. You have to. Do it. Okay? Come on, Joe. What's he gonna do? He can hurt you.
Sergio, how does JoJo Diaz continue with that?
It's going to be very difficult, because he's going to have to not only be fighting Tevin Farmer, but fighting off the blood coming out of that left eye. That's a bad cut.
Unintentional headbutt.
And they are taking a further look at this cut.
We're good? Yeah. All right, good. Go over here.
And he is going to be cleared to continue.
Time in.
We'll see how much nastier that gets for JoJo Diaz.
Well, Tevin Farmer is an exceptionally smart fighter, too. You know that cut is going to be a big target for him. As you see him right away, go upstairs, look for that eye.
Yep.
And the thing about bad cuts, sometimes it's all up to the fighter that got cut. It's the body language. The doctor has to do his job, of course, if it's if it's a really bad cut. But sometimes if you're giving the doctor a reason to stop the fight, they'll stop it. Right there, JoJo Diaz was nodding his head and did not want to stop this fight over that cut.
Hit him in the back. You can hit him in the back.
And the harsh warning to both fighters. Chris, would you score the first 2 rounds?
Yeah, I split the rounds, 1 round apiece. I thought JoJo Diaz had a pretty effective second round despite the presence of that cut. It's interesting watching Tevin Farmer stand his ground more than I've seen him do in recent fights. Certainly not the Featherweight fight. It does look more like the early rounds of the John O'Carroll fight.
Diaz trying to dig at the body of Farmer. Covers up nicely.
And this is where Diaz is effective, when he starts combination punching. And like Chris touched on, Farmer's staying a little bit more stationary, digging that ground, getting that respect, which is giving the opportunity for Diaz to unleash combinations.
See once again the blood over that left eye. JoJo Diaz.
And going back on John O'Carroll fight with Tevin Farmer, Diaz told us that he actually watched that fight and seen that Carroll was having a lot of success breaking down Farmer, but he got fatigued toward the end and wasn't able to adjust, which is exactly what he wants to do in this fight.
Yeah, saw that as an encouraging sign for himself. So this fight is all or nothing for me. JoJo Diaz realizing how important this opportunity is tonight.
JoJo had a lot of success in the amateurs being an Olympian, and he was a highly touted prospect coming out of the Olympics, but he's 0-2 in title shots, and this could possibly be his last opportunity to win a world title.
Diaz dealt with some mental health struggles in recent years, but came out the other side and found a renewed focus and energy here with boxing. Big shot to the body there from JoJo Diaz.
And that's what he has to focus on, concentrate on the body.
Farmer once again just getting his right hand on that cut of Diaz.
Accuracy is one of Farmer's strong points. Aside from being resilient and a brilliant boxer, amazing defensively, it's pinpoint
Depth of that cut. You can see it from ringside that when he gets hit, the blood's just pooling in that cut and then slowly dripping down significantly, right? Like,
and it's thick drips of blood.
Farmer has gone almost 8 years without a loss, making his 5th defense of his world title. JoJo Diaz, a 2-time national champ as an amateur. As Sergio told you, he's had a couple of title shots as a pro, neither of which came through. Third shot today. Diaz talked about wanting to apply smart pressure. He said he feels like Tevin Farmer is a 7-round fighter.
I'm not so sure where he gets that idea.
Nice right hand there from Diaz to finish off that combination.
Stop. Don't throw. Let him go. Go hit him in the back.
Diaz has been reminded multiple times to not hit Farmer in the back. Claudia Trejos is going to fill us in on how the rules for this fight factor in when it comes to that cut, JoJo Diaz? Claudia?
Thank you, Ryan. I just spoke to the commission, and they declared this is an unintentional headbutt. Therefore, if the fight can continue, it's up to the doctor to say that he can't do it. It's up to the fighter to decide that he can do it, or his corner. If it gets past the 4th round, they'll go to the cards. If it ends before the 4th round, it'll be a no contest.
All right, so this is a critical round here, Claudia, as this is the 4th round. Farmer still tossing that jab JoJo's way. JoJo goes back to the body of Farmer. Diaz trying to get back at the body of Farmer. Farmer misses wildly with the left. One thing Tevin Farmer told us is that no fighter ever walks me down.
And that's exactly what they want JoJo Diaz to do, to walk down Farmer.
Clean, stop. Don't throw, step back.
Chris, how do you have it scored? Right?
Yeah, I've got it 3 rounds to 1 for JoJo Diaz at this point. I think he's landing. Look, he's managed that cut extremely well. It's a nasty looking cut, but it feels like he's been able to overcome it, at least up until this point. I don't think that Tevin Farmer has been as elusive as I've seen him in the past. Maybe he wants to, maybe he feels like he's the more physically dominant fighter and wants to win spectacularly, but you're not seeing the same elusive guy.
Well, he told us he's the bigger fighter, and he's going to impose his will and size on him, and maybe that's why he's fighting a little bit more flat-footed. But it's a close fight. I mean, I think Farmer is in this fight. It's back and forth, but they want more pressure from Diaz.
Diaz talked about applying smart pressure, talked about taking chances. Diaz trying to get back at that body of Farmer. Diaz being warned not to hold Tevin Farmer.
You know, one thing about Diaz that he is and has been a very accurate puncher. So Tevin Farmer, it may not be a lack of defense. Diaz just throughout his career has regularly outlanded opponents.
Good shot, good straight left hand landed by Diaz. Farmer comes right back. Farmer's blinking his eyes like something's wrong with his eyes, or he keeps on blinking and looking up at the clock too.
Nice shots there from Diaz.
I think something's wrong with Farmer's eyes. He's blinking in a funny way and looking up at the time.
Step back. Nice and clean, gentlemen. You guys are performing good job.
Keep the same pace, Joseph. Keep the same pace.
Has to feel good with the way this fight has started, despite that cut.
Let him go, box. Step back. Let him go. That's the bell, gentlemen. That's the bell.
It's exchanging close at the bodies. Start of round number 6. Sergio, what have you seen from JoJo Diaz so far?
Well, JoJo landed a clean left-right hand that usually Farmer, his defense is really too good to be getting hit with straight left hands like that. But I have seen Diaz apply the pressure more. Joel Diaz in his corner wants him to continue putting the pressure. That Farmer can't handle that pressure. but history shows that Farmer loves when they're coming at him, just like JoJo Carroll did. He was able to hurt Carroll with that aggression.
You know, one thing about Farmer coming into this fight, he's the world champion, and despite his activity, he hasn't fought someone the level of JoJo Diaz in a long time. You know, JoJo is a significant step up in competition in this fight for Tevin Farmer, coming off his more recent contest.
Oh, that's a good point. I mean, with wins with champions like Rene Alvarado and Andrew Cancio, I mean, he has maybe the better resume, but as far as the better story and the resilience, and coming back from a knockout loss in his pro debut and the losses he had early, I mean, Farmer is as resilient as it gets.
Claudia has been chatting with Tevin Farmer's corner. Let's check in with Claudia.
Thank you, Ryan. Check out the way JoJo dips as he walks into Tevin Farmer's pocket. So Chino Rivas, Tevin Farmer's coach, wants Tevin to capitalize on that opportunity and use the jab. So that way, it'll create more attack, more aggression over JoJo.
Well, they want more jabs, but that was the right hand that he was shaking, saying that he might have injured. So I don't know if he can throw the jab as well as he wants to throw it, as hard and as crisp.
Are you seeing anything, Sergio, with the approach from Farmer that would lead you to believe that right hand has been a problem?
Well, Chris alluded to this earlier that he's a little bit more stationary. Okay, we know that he wants to maybe dig down and punch harder, but he's not moving and punching with that jab as he should, controlling the distance and the pace of the fight. And it might be because he has that injured right hand.
The end of the first round, went back to his corner, shaking his right hand, saying he had hurt it a little bit.
I'm really impressed with the composure shown by JoJo Diaz. With a cut like that coming so early in the fight, he has really maintained a calm in the ring. Fought very effectively, I feel, in the first half of this fight.
I agree. And in the fighter meetings, I mean, he exuded confidence. He was energetic. He was in a good mood. He was lively, and he just couldn't wait to get in here and fight for this title. And it's showing because that cut usually would discourage a boxer, but not Diaz.
Farmer unloads a combination at the body of Diaz.
Chino Rivas and Tevin Farmer's corner, they want him to get more aggressive to take the fight to Diaz.
What do you think of that?
Which is interesting because Farmer has made a career and has been active champion by being a brilliant boxer and amazing defense and head movement. Now they want him to get aggressive and put pressure on Diaz. But you got to do what you got to do to defend these titles. And if Chino Rivas, who's an excellent trainer, if he sees his man falling behind or making this fight a little bit too close, then they got to put some pressure and really get respect.
Oh, it's interesting to hear him talk about the boxing politics and suggesting that there might be some momentum for JoJo Diaz to win this fight and reign as the world champion. I don't know if I buy that. Certainly, based on what we've seen in the first 6 rounds, JoJo Diaz has been excellent.
Crowd becoming engaged with this flurry.
And Farmer staying in the pocket, exchanging the combinations with Diaz. And that's one thing about JoJo Diaz. He throws great combinations, never forgets the body. Uppercuts, they come from all over the place.
You see the power punches through 6 rounds, according to CompuBox. With Tevin Farmer landing a higher percentage, but JoJo Diaz throwing and landing many more. Fighting inside here in this 7th round. Standing and exchanging as Farmer seems to have listened to his corner.
Definitely listening to his corner, taking the fight to Diaz, but Diaz holding his own. I mean, it's a back and forth fight.
Nice right hand to the body from Diaz. Diaz has been composed and effective.
Stay back, open up, stay back.
You know, one thing to keep an eye on as we get into the later part of this fight, you know, JoJo Diaz said that he felt Tevin Farmer looked really depleted all throughout this week. And Tevin said he was fine. His promoter, people around him said he made weight fine, but Tevin's also said he's probably only got 1 or 2 fights left at 130 pounds. So perhaps the weight cut might have been an issue for Tevin Farmer.
That's a great point, Chris, because at the fighter meetings, he didn't look as lively and energetic as Diaz, but you can never take too much off that from a champion. I mean, usually, we know that he carries his chip on his shoulder. He's very confident, Farmer is, but that weight, moving up in weight when you're a champion, that can maybe be a tell.
Well, on the flip side, we have seen how energized JoJo Diaz has been since going up to 130 pounds.
At the bell, gentlemen.
After the struggles he had making weight at 126. Firm instructions from Joel Diaz in JoJo Diaz's corner. Start of the 8th round. The IBF Junior Lightweight Championship on the line. Chris, how you scoring this one?
Yeah, I gave that last round, the 7th round, to Tevin Farmer, but this has been a very strong first half of the fight for JoJo Diaz. He is more accurate. He has been active. And Tevin Farmer's defense has been his calling card for most of the successful stage of his career. Just really isn't there like we've seen in the past. Credit some of that, a lot of that, to JoJo Diaz, who's been a very good offensive fighter tonight.
Farmer's career got off to an inauspicious start. Began his career with a stoppage loss, went just 2-2-1 through his first 5 fights, 7-4-1 through his first 12, but now has won 23 straight and has not lost in almost 8 years.
Let him go. Let him go. Nice and clean, gentlemen.
2017 had to overcome both a torn right biceps as well as a bullet in his right hand. As said, that right hand, he does often feel a little pain, and we saw him in the first round tonight saying he had hurt it a bit.
Farmer said he was going to walk down the smaller man in Diaz, but right now it's Diaz coming forward, walking down the champion Farmer. It's steady pressure, it's walking him back.
That's that educated pressure that JoJo Diaz told us that he wanted to apply.
Box it out, gentlemen. Let's go.
Sergio, one of the tells on fatigue is having your mouth open. In the last round or so, Tevin Farmer's been fighting with his mouth open.
Stop. When I tell you to stop,
Yeah, I've been noticing that. The body language says a little bit of fatigue, but I just, maybe it's the weight cut. Maybe it's the fact that he hurt his hand. He's been blinking his eyes in a funny way. I would like to know if there's something going on that we don't know. We know that's the hand, but if there's anything else.
Diaz going to the body as Farmer counters with his own body shots.
Diaz landing the better shots right here. Farmer holding his own, but Diaz landing some good shots.
Farmer just standing there and exchanging with JoJo Diaz.
Well, not for nothing, this isn't your typical brilliant boxing exhibition of a Tevin Farmer type fight. He's holding his own more. He's fighting a more physical fight, but I don't think that's maybe the right case against Diaz. Diaz is maybe getting the better of it when they're exchanging.
At the bell, gentlemen.
Start of the 9th round with the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship on the line. Chris, what has stood out to you most about JoJo so far tonight?
Well, it's the best of JoJo Diaz. The accuracy on his punches. You know, he's never been a huge volume puncher, but he's been an accurate puncher. More interesting is that Tevin Farmer, the head movements, it's just not what I'm used to seeing. In his last fight against Frenois, it was almost a masterclass defensively. Frenois had a hard time putting a glove on him. Even some of the wider shots that JoJo Diaz is throwing, Tevin doesn't seem to be reacting as fast and getting out of the way. So just not your typical Tevin Farmer fight.
I agree 100%, Chris. I don't see the defensive prowess that we're used to seeing from Farmer. And credit to the cut man, Ben Lira, in JoJo Diaz's corner, because they've done a great job of stopping the blood of that, just a gash on the left side of his face.
It's a great point. Could have easily become a serious issue for Diaz after that accidental headbutt in the 2nd round.
Let him go. Go, Diaz. Go. Oh, no, stop. I'm not going to tell you again. Stop holding and hitting. You understand? I'm not going to tell you again.
Diaz being warned to stop holding.
Good combination there by JoJo Diaz, digging downstairs, coming around with a right hook.
And Sergio, Tevin Farmer just kind of stood there and took it.
He's still taking them. I mean, he's getting hit with left hands now. I mean, this is unlike a Tevin Farmer type performance as far as defensive.
Well, according to CompuBox, 41% of this fight has been fought at close range, double the average. And obviously not what we are used to when it comes to Tevin Farmer.
Farmer told us that he's the bigger man. He's going to impose his size and will on JoJo. Well, he's definitely doing that, but is that the smart strategy to do? Because we know he's a brilliant boxer and he's a genius defensively, but he's not doing none of that. He's fighting JoJo Diaz's fight, staying flat-footed. Maybe it's the hand injury. He keeps blinking his eyes in an awkward fashion. Maybe something's in his eye. It's just weird. This isn't a typical Farmer performance where he's on his toes, bouncing and moving behind that jab, looking sharp.
This entire round has been fought inside.
In the last one he did, but that entire combination, most of those shots got through.
Start of the 10th round. JoJo Diaz digs back at the body.
Beautiful body shots right there. Even when you block them, those are going to be effective. Those are 4 or 5 punches to the body that Farmer absorbs.
Chris, how do you have it scored?
I have JoJo Diaz in control of this fight right now, 88-83. He's been accurate, he's been good, and again, it's more about the Tevin Farmer defense that we're used to seeing. It just hasn't been there tonight.
Big shots there from Diaz.
Oh, that right hand hurt Tevin Farmer.
No, Farmer's shook, and this isn't your typical Tevin Farmer performance. I mean, you either got to credit JoJo Diaz for taking the fight out of Farmer, or Farmer just stylistically fighting the wrong fight.
JoJo Diaz, another fierce combination.
Farmer looks tired to me as well. When he misses, his feet aren't under him. Maybe he did make weight the wrong way. Something's up. He just doesn't have the bounce on his legs, on his toes.
He dismissed the notion that making 130 was difficult for him, but we'll see if anything is unearthed after the fight, because he has not had his usual bounce.
Don't pull him, don't pull him.
I still think Tevin Farmer's blinking funny. He keeps looking up at the clock as well.
Diaz has controlled this fight as he looks to take the world title away from Farmer.
Even when Farmer misses, he falls off balance, which is unlike him. I mean, he's so athletic. He makes opponents miss, and he's sharp, and he's always in control. But right here, even when he misses punches, he falls off balance a little bit.
JoJo Diaz said he felt like Farmer did not have any respect for him. I would think at this point, Farmer started to gain some.
Farmer definitely didn't have no respect for him at the fighter meetings. He says, JoJo's too small, I'm gonna punish him, I'm gonna back him up. That's not the case so far.
The end of
to standing in the corner between rounds. It's not unique to Tevin Farmer. There's a handful of guys that do it, but what's the upside?
Something, your legs aren't under you. that's really a sign. I mean, the fact that he's looked a little bit lethargic compared to other performances, and him standing up in the corner like that, it makes me think that he doesn't have the energy he normally has. His legs aren't under him. So when a fighter stands in the corner like that, he wants to wake up his legs sometimes.
Chino Rivas, the trainer for Tevin Farmer, has said that Tevin's will to win is what makes him special.
Chino Rivas also said we really need these last 2 rounds, so concern in the corner of Tevin Farmer.
He might need something spectacular these last 2 rounds, Chris.
Well, if you're Tevin Farmer, you've got to make a hard assault on that body. We saw Farmer knock out James Tennyson a year or so ago with a vicious body shot. He's got to start attacking there, but we may be running out of time for that knockout punch.
Yeah, but the thing about digging down to the body is you got to have legs under you. You need the thigh strength and bend down your knees down there to really dig down there. And if you don't have legs, you're just going to be vulnerable for a counter.
We'll see how careful JoJo Diaz is in these last couple of rounds. How comfortable he feels with his position and the work he's been able to do through the first 10 rounds. Farmer trying to work the body there.
Let him go, Farmer. Let's go. Let's go. Stop. Don't throw. Stop.
Third world title shot for JoJo Diaz. Hoping this time is the charm.
Come on, guys. Let's go. Let him go. Box it out. Let's go.
The sharpness in not only the punching, but even the reaction time of Tevin Farmer's not there. He looks lethargic. He looks like he maybe struggled making weight. The legs aren't under him. He doesn't have that defensive genius that we're used to seeing from him.
Well, the athleticism usually is so obvious with Farmer. Shown in that defensive genius. He's not been there tonight thus far. Diaz skates away.
I'm not used to seeing Farmer miss like that. 2 wild swings like that, it's just unlike him.
Let's go. Ring it, go. Keep it clean. Let's go. At the bell, gentlemen. Sit back.
Well, you could see JoJo Diaz's corner feels very good about his standing thus far in this fight.
Well, I thought we saw a little bit more of the old Tevin Farmer in that last round and a half. But it may be too little too late when you're seeing Tevin Farmer and JoJo Diaz come out immediately with a sense of urgency.
Diaz trying to work the body. Farmer more aggressive as well.
Farmer digging downstairs, and JoJo Diaz concentrating on the head now.
Come on, gentlemen. Let's go. Stop. Get back. Come on, guys. Come on. Box it out. Let's go. Here, let him go. Oh, you push it back. Let's go, guys. Box it out of there.
Chris, in your eyes, does Tevin Farmer need a knockout here in the 12th?
I think he does. You know, Tevin Farmer, as a result of giving JoJo Diaz this shot, has a rematch clause in his contract, so pretty good chance we see this fight again if the judges see it Diaz's way.
If it does happen, I would love to see Tevin Farmer take a break. He's been the most active champion out there. 5 title defenses in a little bit more than a year. Maybe he just needs a break. His body maybe needs a break because this wasn't your typical sharp performance from Tevin Farmer.
No, it's a good point, Sergio, because you know as well as anyone, it's not necessarily the fights that are what take the toll. It's a training camp.
It's a training camp, and if you're not taking any time off, he told us even in his time off, when he had vacation, he was still in the gym.
He only had about a month and a half out of camp over the last year plus. And during one of those breaks on vacation, he went ahead and trained anyway.
Yeah, even though you're a defensive fighter, it's the training that takes it out of you. And this just looked like a lethargic, performance by usually what's a sharp, on his toes, bouncing around, head movement, hard to hit Tevin Farmer.
Diaz and Farmer very aggressive in this 12th round.
But also credit, big credit to JoJo Diaz, fighting through adversity, fighting through that bad cut on his left eye. And credit to his corner, Ben Lera, for stopping the blood of that, just putting the pressure on. He learned from his mistakes in his last fights with Gary Russell Jr. coming up short, and it showed.
Cut man might be the MVP tonight.
Absolutely, Ben Lera.
Farmer swinging wildly with that left hand.
And JoJo Diaz is catching Tevin Farmer on those swings he did with the right hand just a minute ago.
It's the third time the charm for JoJo Diaz. It appears so.
He believes so. JoJo Diaz started his...
After 12 rounds of action here in Miami, Florida, we go to the judges' scorecards. John Rupert, 116-112. Richard Green and Alex Levin, 115 to 113. All three for your winner by unanimous decision,